The Galactic Council had made a grave miscalculation when they assigned Alice Rayan to the Krevthar homeworld. They thought her diplomatic credentials and xenobiology expertise made her the perfect candidate for the cultural exchange program. What they failed to account for was that humans, despite their soft appearances, possessed an almost supernatural ability to domesticate anything with a pulse. Alice stood in the communal learning den, surrounded by 12 juvenile Krevthar, apex predators whose adult forms could tear through starship hulls with their crystalline claws. At this age, however, they were merely waist-high bundles of silver fur, oversized paws, and an insatiable curiosity about the strange, furless alien who smelled like prey but acted like a pack leader. "All right, everyone," Alice announced, clapping her hands together. The cub's triangular ears swiveled toward her in unison. "Today's lesson is about interspecies interaction protocols." A small paw shot up. Nir, the most precocious of the group, wriggled with barely contained excitement. His amber eyes gleamed with that particular brand of mischief that transcended species barriers. "Yes, Nir." Alice tried to maintain her professional demeanor, though the corner of her mouth twitched upward. "Human Alice," Nir began, his translator collar rendering his chittering growls into perfect standard. "When we meet new species, the traditional Krevthar greeting involves a test bite to assess threat level and dominance hierarchy. But you said we cannot bite other species. This isn't confusing." The other cubs murmured in agreement, their tails swishing across the polished stone floor. Alice had anticipated this question. The Krevthar were warriors by nature, their entire culture built around strength, honor, and the sacred hunt. Convincing them to adopt gentler diplomatic approaches was like teaching a star to shine less brightly. Technically possible, but fighting against fundamental nature. "That's correct," she said, kneeling to their eye level. "When you join the galactic community, you'll meet species that are much more fragile than you. A friendly test bite could seriously injure or kill them." Nir's ears drooped and several cubs whined softly. One of them, a female named Kess, spoke up. "But how will we know if they're worthy of respect? How will we establish pack order?" This was the moment Alice had been building toward. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a human data slate, activating a holographic display. Images of Earth's history filled the air. Humans and wolves, humans and horses, humans and countless other species, all coexisting in bonds that defied pure predator-prey dynamics. "Let me tell you about humanity's secret," Alice said softly, and 12 pairs of predatory eyes locked onto her with laser focus. "We don't bite our friends. Instead, we do something far more powerful. We earn their loyalty through trust, protection, and mutual benefit." Nir tilted his head, processing this alien concept. "But you are prey species, small, soft. No claws, no fangs worth mentioning. How did you survive?" Alice smiled. A human expression that the cubs had learned meant something between amusement and challenge. "We turned every predator on our planet into our ally. Wolves became our hunting partners and guardians. Horses carried us across continents. Birds of prey hunted alongside us. We didn't do it through dominance. We did it through friendship." "Friendship," Nir repeated, testing the word like it was foreign food. "And this requires no biting?" "No biting," Alice confirmed. A long pause stretched across the den. The cubs looked at each other, engaging in that silent communication pack animals excel at. Finally, Nir raised his paw again. "Human Alice, we have discussed. We understand the concept. We accept that we should not bite other species when we join the galactic community." His tail wagged slightly, betraying the question coming next. "But what about just a little bite? Very small. Barely a nibble. Just to understand them better?" The other cubs immediately chorused their support. "Yes, just a little. A tiny test bite. For science." Alice covered her face with her hands, but her shoulders shook with laughter. This was so typically human universe. Problem: trying to negotiate with apex predators, who thought compromise meant adjusting the degree of their violence rather than eliminating it entirely. "No," she said firmly, though warmth colored her tone. "Not even a little bite. Not a nibble. Not a test nip. Zero biting." Nir's ears folded back dramatically. "But human Alice, this is very difficult. Biting is how we show affection, how we play, how we communicate." "I know," Alice said gently. She reached out and scratched behind Nir's ear. a gesture she'd learned the Krevthar cubs loved despite their fearsome reputation. That's why we're practicing. You'll learn new ways to show affection that won't accidentally kill someone. Like the ear scratching? Kes asked hopefully, leaning into Alice's touch. Exactly like the ear scratching. Nir considered this, his juvenile mind working through the complex social calculations. Finally, he looked up at Alice with those impossibly large amber eyes. If we promise not to bite other species, will you continue the ear scratching? And the belly rubs you give us after lessons? Alice felt her heart melt. Here was the future of an apex predator species. Fearsome warriors who could grow to tear apart battle mechs, negotiating diplomatic protocols in exchange for belly rubs. The Galactic Council would never believe her reports. Yes, she agreed. If you all promise to remember the no-biting rule, I promise continued ear scratches and belly rubs. Deal, the cubs shouted in unison. Nir stepped forward and very deliberately did not bite Alice. Instead, he pressed his fuzzy head against her shoulder in what his people would eventually classify as the human-style friendship gesture. One by one, the other cubs followed, creating a pile of purring, non-biting apex predators around their human teacher. Later, when Alice filed her report to the Galactic Council, she added a note. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our warfare capabilities. It's our ability to look at something designed by evolution to kill us and say, but what if we were friends instead? The Krevthar cubs are learning this lesson. Give them 20 years and they'll be teaching it to the galaxy. At the bottom of the report, almost as an afterthought, she added, P.S. Nir still occasionally asks about just a little bite. I've told him absolutely not. He's learning, slowly. The galaxy would never be the same.